Since launching OnDuty, police officers have made over 36 million queries, reducing admin and streamlining operations. In policing, every tool officers use should provide real value, whether it's saving time, reducing administrative burden, or improving decision-making in the field. But measuring that value isn't always straightforward. At Smudge, we focus on building technology that delivers value, not just in dollars, but in efficiency, officer safety, and time spent where it matters most, in the community. I'm Reuben, the Managing Director at Smudge, and I'm here hosting a short series of videos with Superintendent Mark Donaldson from New Zealand Police. Mark, it's great to have you here. Thanks for making some time for this. Can you start telling me a little bit about your police career and background?
Yeah, absolutely, and thanks for having me, Reuben. So most of my policing career has been in Dunedin, coming up 20 years now, but the last 6 been spent in Wellington. But did all my frontline policing in Dunedin as a constable, as a sergeant, and OC station at Dunedin Central. So yeah, my heart's still down in Dunedin. I still live in Dunedin, but my work takes me to Wellington these days around the technology space.
Yeah, well, thank you. So we've worked with New Zealand Police for over 10 years now, created a few mobile applications. Can you tell me about the impact that these applications have had?
Oh, they're game changers for what we do in policing. Even the first applications that we rolled out with the phone, before we started working with Smudge, had made quite a considerable difference. But the change that we made with Smudge is really moving into that native application space and making it really, truly user-centric. And the OnDuty platform, just the queries alone, was a game changer for us. And you talk a little bit around the officer safety. That's massive. The 36 million queries, probably mostly around people and vehicles. And some of those queries would have been done by our comms through the radio, but the burden on them was absolutely massive. So a lot of the time, they would never get done. So officers were approaching people and vehicles with sometimes no information. To have that query capability to provide that safety information was massive. And so it's not just sort of the efficiencies, but that safety element, it can't be underestimated. And it's really hard to measure, but we know it's there, and it's massive for New Zealand Police.
Before we began working for police, I just never considered the sheer amount of information that police needed to access and process as a core part of the job. And when we started off, it was purely accessing information, like you said, people, vehicles, and then we moved on to creating basic reports, and then there's quite significant reports that we've done. And so we've progressively created solutions that add value. What are some of the highlights from the work that we've done in OnDuty?
For the OnDuty space, there's a couple of big highlights for me. I think the offence report, I'd wanted to do that for a long period of time. We had the family harm report and we had traffic crash report, but there was that one missing one for me that picked up so many other incidences and offences that we go to every day, whether it was mental health or whether it was a minor assault or whether a trespass. All these ones we do every day that we weren't capturing digitally. So that was a massive one for me, and it was quite easy to do. It was just a prioritisation thing for us to get that one right. The other one was excess breath alcohol. Most cases where we lose in the courts around evidential breath testing is process, and it's getting it a little bit wrong in the paperwork, maybe not getting the timings right. We've eliminated that by making it digital. And just even speaking to officers a couple of weeks ago in Southern District, you know, the older generation just love it. They said I wasn't going to use it to start with because I was a bit worried, but as soon as they started using it, everything was there for them and they loved it. And the big thing about EBA, or excess breath alcohol, is it's all evidence collection, so we can use that data in a more structured way and create prosecution files automatically. So it's less admin burden for our staff further down the track as well. So just by doing one thing really well up front, we're automating a lot of other work to create a prosecution file, so then they don't have to do any more work. It's massive, and it's something we wanted to do for a while, and we were able to realise that last year.
I really like the way that we continue to build on things as we go. So we've got a form and we have people, vehicles, key and location information, but then something like EBA, here's the specific parts that are about that process and not just about taking the form and putting it onto a phone, but actually what is that process that we can make better?
You're absolutely right, because it's legislative driven. Like you can't do things a different way, but there is opportunity when you digitise something to build in those validations, build in that time counter that we need, build in that signature capability that we require, and we can put it all in one place and make it just so user friendly for our people. It's great. The whole iterative design, and I'm not sure we're going to chat about this or not, but the MVP focus around what does an MVP look like, what is value for our people, and knowing what that is when you first put something out, knowing that it's going to be good enough, but you've got a bigger goal in mind and how you communicate that moving forward. OnDuty was an interesting one in that respect, because we always said it's the first and foremost a platform for queries, and we're going to build paperwork on it. And it's not so much we built better paperworks, we just added more paperworks, where SAM, for example, was really just around showing where our people were on a map from a safety aspect. Now our MVP2 was bail, MVP3 was warrants, now we've got occurrence layers. So that situational awareness piece around what does the geospatial picture look like in the organisation now, both from the phone and from the desktop, is starting to really drive more user requirements. The commissioners now seeing it going, I use this every day, I love being able to see where my people are. It's so powerful. So you just start building, and it's just great to see products evolve over periods of time.
I find it fascinating because I've seen many organisations recognise the direction they want to go and the benefits they could achieve, that New Zealand Police are achieving, but then they take this kind of all-at-once approach that comes with all these risks. You miss key integrations, don't validate user experience or expectations, and you struggle with adoption. What do you think it is about the way New Zealand Police operates that has enabled us to take a more iterative, effective approach to building these solutions?
Well, I think we've got it wrong in the past, which is probably, we've gone, okay, we didn't do that well, and it's probably because we've taken a waterfall approach to a business problem, and policing's a dynamic environment which is changing all the time, so it may meet the problem at that point in time. By the time you roll it out, everything's changed, and we recognise that in police, that our operational environment's always going to change from time to time. But first, if we get the applications right from its core purpose, like OnDuty, queries and paperwork, SAM, situational awareness, digital notebook, first timeline and notes, right, what do we build on top of that now, and how do we understand where that's going strategically, but we can always pivot to what the organisation needs at any time, because we've thought well through things, and we've built it in a way like we're not going to roll that out in 3 years' time and just wait for us. We're going to give you value now, and we're going to take that user feedback. Right, now you know this application works. What do you want? What do you like? We want more templates. We want to be able to enter information through a video, whatever it happens to be. We go, okay, that's what we're going to do. Let's go and figure out how we're going to do that and how we'll make it work.
And we've got the overlying structures of the direction where they go, so we know where the demand's coming from. We know where it fits.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think it's one of the things I appreciate about the way we built these tools is it's not just about the adoption, it is really about the impact. Because one thing to say officers use the app, but another to see how it actually changes the way they work. How do you measure the success of the applications beyond just usage?
Well, one thing is when they stop working, what does that mean? So whether some software or application is mission critical, what does the mission critical mean? For the New Zealand Police, obviously comms is mission critical for us. If comms goes down, we've got some serious problems that we have to try and manage. OnDuty sits in that space because we've essentially stopped so many other processes to try and, because we trust the product we've built, the adoption's there, we know how it gets used, and we'll be able to build process off the back of it. And process off the back of it where it's a consistent process through the organisation has been real key for us being in. This is a great product for us to be able to use. Now we've turned off like sort of product where you could, I don't want to name any products, so, but you can't just email file management centres, you can't bring up transcription services now, you can't do other things. The process from end to end starts with OnDuty. So the critical nature of OnDuty now is like,
the impact, it is the only way to do that job.
That's right. So And there's risk in that. But at the same time, we understand that risk, we understand what it means, but from a holistic point of view across the organisation, when you're trying to meet demand and budget requirements and stuff like that, the most efficient way to do things is having a consistent way to do it. And OnDuty provides that for us as long as it's working, and it always has. So we've got no problems there at all.
Well, Mark, thank you so much for your time today. I'm really proud of the work that we do for New Zealand Police. Technology should do more than check a box. It should deliver value by saving time, improving efficiency, and enabling better decision making. The real impact comes from solutions that make work easier, more effective, and more meaningful. This is one of the things that we focus on at Smudge. If you want to learn more about how we build technology that delivers real value, head over to smudge.com.